just broke the cork off.
Oh, that's puke. Ugh.
Okay. I don't know what to do. Maybe I'm just sensing some umami on this. Because, ooh, mama, that's good. I still haven't found my first Blanton's. Hey, gang. We're on time for once. It's, well, I guess we don't have a set time on Sundays. But here we are. It's Sunday, 7:30, and it's time for a Bourbcast. Let's get into this. Let's go ahead and get it poured. This bottle has been in my basement for at least 4 years, maybe 5. So I'm just happy that the cork didn't break. This is the Ernest Scarano Widmer Winter Rye. I've had this bottle so long that the label has changed since I bought it. Again, I found out about Ernest Scarano Distillery when I was working on a movie in 2020. Somebody had the Old Homicide, which we tried last week. This one. Really, really good. I did check out their website, and I can tell you that they do not ship. If you want to buy it, you have to go to the distillery. Want to say hello to Chuck? Want to say hello to Larry? Thanks for watching. Yeah, so you have to actually go to the distillery and pick it up. You can order online and pay for it, but you still have to go to the distillery. They don't ship. So, anyhow. I just want to take you back to the photo. This photo was taken today. I was looking for an interesting place to take this photo, and I just happened to find this. So that's underneath an interstate, and all that graffiti on the wall, that's real. I just happened to find it and thought, ooh, that's really pretty. Now, what wasn't pretty under there, and I'm not going to go into it too much. I'll tell you what was there, but I'm not going to show you pictures. I took pictures, but I'm not going to show them to you. There was a dead possum that was perfectly decapitated. It's pretty gruesome under there, honestly. There was a deer. Well, it was a deer. Oh my. So, it was an adventure. It was definitely an adventure. All right, the Widmer, it's still fall. Road trip. I know. This is a winter wheat. So the way that this works is they plant the wheat, or winter rye. They plant the rye prior to winter, just like winter wheat. It doesn't do a whole lot of growing through the wintertime, but it is a little bit, and then it ends up going into like a remission. And then as the spring months come through, that rye starts to grow. They cultivate the rye, they use the rye to do a distilling, and voila, they let this sit through the winter months, 8 of the coldest months of the year. Excuse me. So what, October through whenever. You do the math. June, or maybe September through May, something, or April. Sounds about right. Anyhow, so it rests 8 months. Now, an interesting thing about this bottle and the old label is right here on this. It says where is it? 100% straight rye whiskey. Now, I believe the 100% part. I believe this is a 100% rye. It's not a 95.5, it's not a 51. 51 is what it takes to be legal, right? I believe this is a 100% rye. But it says straight rye. But it also says on the front it's aged 8 months. In order to be classified as a straight rye, it has to be aged at least 2 years, and it can't be mixed with anything else. I don't think this was mixed with anything else, but at 8 months, it's not a straight rye because it didn't sit for 2 years. Now, if you look at the website for Ernest Scarano, and you look at the new label that you see on this bottle, here, straight rye will not be seen anywhere on their marketing or on this label or anything. It's not there anymore. They took it off. So that could be why they did the label change, is just because it ain't no straight rye. It's an 8-month. And I remember when he first told me it's an 8th month, it's like, really? 8 months? And he's like, yeah. And they were proud of it. So last week we did the Old Homicide. This is 140 proof and it's a 4-year. It's delicious. This is an 8-month, and I believe what I said is it's a 90 proof. Yes, 90 proof. So this is going to be a completely different experience. I believe they are both 100% rye, though. So they could be the exact same mash bill, which happens all the time. Buffalo Trace does it. Old Forester does it. They have the exact Wild Turkey does it. They all have the same mash bill, but they use different lengths of aging, different proofs, different places in the rickhouse, all sorts of different stuff to give you different products. This could be the same as Old Homicide, but now you're talking about 90 proof and not aged 4 years, but only 8 months. So, road trip. Hey everyone, are you rye? Hey everyone, are you rye, bourbon, or other, preferably? They're all so different. I mean, you get a nice Alberta rye, and that flavor profile is going to be so much different than this rye. And I don't know if this is, I don't know what Widmer means. I don't know if it's like the farm where they get the rye. I don't know what that is. And it's Sunday and I couldn't get in touch with them today. So I didn't get those answers, but I'll try to have them for next week. I'm curious as to what Widmer is, if that's maybe somebody's last name or the farm where they grow the rye, or I don't know what that is. I want to say it has something to do with that. I don't remember. It's been too long since I've had that chat. Trying to get banter. Yeah, because I don't banter enough, Chuck. All right. All right. Little bit of astringency on the nose. That's kind of the first thing I grabbed a hold of. It's a weaker nose than the Old Homicide for sure. Yeah, definitely astringent. I'm going to let this sit a little bit. Hey, Michael, how are you? Going to let it just kind of, I'm going to swim it around a little bit because I'm getting a little paint thinner off of this. That's not something I get very often. Growing my brand. Coachella Valley Mike, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Had a high of 48 here today. Had a high of almost 70 yesterday. I did all the lawn work, all the yard work, got all the leaves blown, which you probably don't have an issue with in Coachella Valley, California. But I had quite the collection of leaves. I had an oak leaf that was so huge, I could have worn it as a loincloth. The thing was huge, like this big, an oak leaf. I can see that being, like a cottonwood. This was an oak. Put a strap on that thing, wear it in the parade. Oh, I know. Even that leaf wouldn't be big enough to cover everything. I understand. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Interesting. There's just not a whole lot of nose here. Not nose hair, nose here. There's just not a lot there. There is a nice fruit note. Reminds me of apples, which is not what the Old Homicide did at all. But the notes that I saw from their website online, which is redundant, website online. It's redundant in a repetitive kind of way. Anyway, it said that it was reminiscent of green, right? So like green, shrubbery, things like that. Normally that's not a note that I like. Normally it just means it's going to be grassy. Henry's watching. Hello, sir. How are you? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Bourbcast. I'm KC. I am your executive bourbon steward friend, and I will walk you through this very special series that we're doing for Ohio distillery called Ernest Scarano Distillery. Last week it was Old Homicide, their 140 proof hazmat 4-year. This is a 90 proof 8-month one called Widmer Winter Rye. All right. There is a fruit note, but I am getting some of that grassiness. It's not bad. I mean, I've had other things that I thought were kind of grassy that were very, very grassy and very, very unpleasant. This isn't bad. The fruit note is overwhelming that a little bit. If I had to give you one word to describe what I'm getting now that astringency, that ethanol is starting to fade, if I had to give you one word to describe what this nose is to me, it's fresh. It just smells fresh. I mean, I'm not going to do my laundry in it, but it's got a freshness to it. Almost a candy-ish, almost a sugary candy. All right, here we go, down the hatch. Okay, wow. That's got a heck of a bloom for a 90 proof. Whew. 90? Are you serious? That's warm. That's warm for a 90. Good night. That surprised me. Whew. I'd almost like to put a hydrometer in there and see if it really is only 90 proof. Because it's presenting as much warmer than that. I mean, it's not so hot as like the 140 from last week, but that was surprising. Goodness gracious. Okay. For those of you new, the bloom is a term that I use to describe how that alcohol burn moves around on your tongue. I like the word bloom better. Burn it isn't very flattering. And I actually like to explore how that moves around. For me, it's kind of a way to tell a good whiskey from a poor whiskey is how that bloom moves around. I get really disappointed when it just sits there and doesn't do anything. All right. Now, they described on their website a buttery mouthfeel. No. No. It is nice, though. And I can see where they might come up with the name buttery. Okay. But buttery for me is much, much different. This is a nice, silky mouthfeel. It just feels good. It's not watery. It's got a decent viscosity to it. Really, actually is friendly to my mouth. Paul's watching. Hey, Paul. How are you? Welcome to the show. We're getting some new viewers tonight, so I'll just clarify a couple things. This is the Ernest Scarano. It's an Ohio distillery. You can only buy it at the distillery. You can't have it shipped. You can buy it online, but then you got to go to the distillery to pick it up. The last week we did Old Homicide. Delicious. Hot. 140 proof. Hazmat. Delicious. Now we're doing the Widmer Winter Rye. Surprisingly hot for a 90 proof. Nice silky mouthfeel. Let's try some flavors. It's got a nice spice to it. Really nice rye spice. It's 100% rye, to my best guess. That heat is definitely there. I'm feeling it going all the way down. That rye spice, that rye heat is there. Really nice. Hey, Shala's watching. Hey, how are you, Shala? Nice to have you along with us tonight. So, flavor on this. It's young, so the flavors are a little tough to find, a little tough to define. I got apple on the nose, and I'm getting that on the palate as well. The grassiness that I got on the nose is not there on the palate. But something that I can say on the palate that is on the nose is something is fresh. It's tough to describe it. I was afraid I would hate this, and I really don't. It's definitely nothing near complex, but it's different and unusual, and the profile on it is just nouveau. By the way, if you're into wine, the Beaujolais Nouveaux are out. Just thought I mentioned. I know they tend to fly off the rack, and Beaujolais Nouveau. That's one of my favorite wines. I really do like Beaujolais Nouveaux, and they're out now. So, just FYI, they're not going to last long. They never do. So, all right. Justin's watching. Hey, Justin, how are you? Thank you for watching. All right. Let's get back into it. Okay. I know what it is now. Where grassiness is to an extent unpleasant. This is not grassy. It's not like shrubs and stuff, whatever it is that they said on their website. This reminds me of fresh herbs. Parsley, maybe cilantro, maybe thyme. Some of those fresh herbs. This is herby. And I don't think it's necessarily one herb over another. Although cilantro, parsley, that kind of it's a medium. It's not very spicy flavor wise. It's just kind of there. It just adds a little flavor. That's what I'm getting, is an herbaceous taste to this. I actually rather like it. But it's still whiskey, and it still tastes like whiskey. It's just an herby whiskey, and I don't know any better way to describe it. It does taste like whiskey. It's yeah. I've got a second bottle of this, so I'm not going to be shy about doing this. I really want to try to get some of the flavors out of this. All right. Okay, so there are some very, very light flavors. Again, this is a light drink as far as its flavoring. The rye is hot, and that spice is definitely coming through. But the other flavors, there is some cinnamon there. There is some caramel there. It doesn't overwhelm. That herbiness doesn't overwhelm either. It's just part of it. And it's different and young and fresh. It's just, that's the best way I could describe it. All right, we're going to pour a little more. So I can give it a fair shake with some water. Never know where you're going to put anything. And I didn't get any ice out. And I'm not going to go get any ice out. It's only 90 proof, although I think it would be interesting on ice. The Old Homicide sure was. I'll just do 2 drops. If you don't have one of these, for your water. I mean, I watch like videos online where I see like people tasting scotch, and I'm amazed at how much water they put in their scotch. I mean, it's significant. You can open up a whiskey with just a couple of drops. You can reignite that bloom with just a couple drops. It's actually kind of amazing. All right. Let's see if there's anything I wanted to say about this. Rest in the winter months, we talked about that, 100% rye. We talked about the fact that on the front of this, it says straight rye, and it isn't. And that the new label and the new stuff on the website does not state anything about it being a straight rye. Just an 8 month, it even doesn't even say 8 months anymore, just says housed or barreled through the winter months. This label was a little more honest. It said it's 8 months, but it was wrong in that it called it a straight rye on the front of this label. So the new label, just a little bit different. If you don't know what Beautiful Bourbon is all about, come on, there we go. If you don't know what Beautiful Bourbon is all about, it all started because of photography. I love photography. This is the new label. It's actually this bottle that's sitting in front of me. I photoshopped the new label on the front of it so you can see what it's actually supposed to look like. Everything else in that shot is the way it was. The train track, the graffiti behind, everything, all that was there. It's just, I photoshopped the bottle because I wanted to be more representative of what the bottle actually is today, knowing that it's been 4 or 5 years since I bought this. So if I looked in the box, I bet I could find the receipt to find out precisely when I bought this. Maybe I'll find that out for next week because we have another one. We have one more that we're going to do next week, and I'll be telling you what that is here shortly. All right, so this is the Widmer Winter Rye with a little water on it. Just really good. It did open it up a little bit. I'm getting more of a whiskey flavor now, a little less herbs. More of the cinnamons and caramels that you would normally typically look for in a whiskey. This is actually, I'm surprised at how much I do enjoy this. This is, I did not expect to like anything that's aged under a year. But whatever Ernest Scarano is doing with the mash, however he's doing it right. The barrels that he's chosen, this is it does say on the website that this was barreled with a light char, which, okay, charring is charring. The charring doesn't add flavor or color much. It more just filters things out, filters out impurities. This is a light char, so probably a number 1 or a number 2, but I'd say probably a number 1. Not super dark. The Old Homicide is a 4-year, definitely darker. But if you were to let this sit for 8 months, it may not be any darker than that. That may be all barrel, and it may have nothing to do with char. Paul says, have you had the Indian Preservation Bourbon? I have not. Haven't even heard of that one. Is that found in our state or is it elsewhere? Because I've had stuff from Smooth Ambler, like their Old Scout, and there's another one they have that's just awful. Contradiction. Ugh. I'm telling you. That's awful. I like Smooth Ambler. I like Old Scout. I was hopeful. Contradictions. Nasty. Did not like it. All right, let's go over what we're going to, since I didn't bring the ice out. Water's good. I like water on this. It opened it up nicely. It's really, really good. Next week, the last that I have in this series is really kind of fun. We're getting back into some high proof stuff. I assume the mash bill is the same, but this is a little bit, and I don't know what the age is on this. I'd have to find out. But we're talking about this one is 130 proof, so not quite to hazmat, but darn close. It's called Whiskey Dick. It's got a little detective on the front, like, you know, detective, like Private Dick. Whiskey Dick. That's what it's called. This one has been charcoal mellowed. So I can talk to them this week and find out what all that's about, but if I had to guess, I would tell you that it probably means that it's going through some version of the Lincoln County process, like a Tennessee whiskey does, and it's 130 proof. And it's probably the same mash bill. I don't know the aging on it. I could find out probably online. I don't think it says here, but we'll look and see. It does not. It does not say on the bottle how long it's aged. So it may be another short one, or I don't know. We'll just have to find out. But Whiskey Dick, I think they've changed all these labels now. I think they completely rebranded. All these labels say Fremont, Ohio. They're not in Fremont anymore. They're in Elmore. But they hadn't changed all. When I went there, they were in Elmore. But it costs money to change the labels. And they put out a product once a year, I think. It's been a while since I've talked to them, but they do all their stuff in one distilling season, and then they put it out, and it's there, and then once it's gone, they have to start a new distilling season. And they bottle and bond. I don't know how many of their products are bottled and bond. And it's interesting because they're not 100 proof, and it's not a 4-year. Now, the Old Homicide is a 4-year, so maybe that's the one that's bottled and bond, and I don't know how long this one's aged, but the Old Homicide, pardon me. Ernest Scarano Distillery, again in Elmore, Ohio. All of their bottles are 375s. This is not a fifth. It's not, 750 milliliter. It's a 375. These are pints. They don't make bigger than this. They're not cheap. The Old Homicide, $90. This one, the Widmer is $50. So you're paying for a pint, which you would normally pay for a 750. A fifth. But this is a small distillery. The one thing that they changed about the branding on this one, they called it a straight rye, and they can't do that. So now they're calling it a small batch rye, which would be true. They don't make them in big batches. They make them, and then they run out, and then they make more. So it's just a really interesting place. And if you're in Ohio, I think it's worth taking the trip to Elmore. Tiny little town, tiny little business, but tiny little bottle. But by golly, so far so good. I have liked what I've had out of this distillery. It's tasty. I'm looking forward to this one to find out what happens with the charcoal filtering. If that's like a Lincoln County process or what that is. It sounds like it is. Whiskey Dick. That's coming up next week on the Bourbcast. Again, this is a Sunday night. You could be doing anything else, and you're joining me, and I am grateful for that. Thank you for tuning in, especially our new people. Thank you for coming around and checking it out. If you saw us on the Northwest Ohio Bourbon Enthusiasts, thank you for that. If you're on the Maumee Valley Whiskey Society, thank you for that. If you just happen to be following us on Beautiful Bourbon, thank you for that. If you happen to be on YouTube, this is where I have to do the YouTube thing. Like and subscribe and hit that bell. That's what you have to say on YouTube. We're over 400 on YouTube now, as far as subscribers go, which is, I think it was 407 the other day, which is really exciting actually. So the show's continuing to slowly creep, and we continue to get some fun battles. We got some stuff coming up when we're done with this series that we're doing. I've got 3 more bottles that are lined up behind. I can't wait to get to them. A couple of them particularly, they're going to be a lot of fun. So just stick around and keep coming back. After today, we've got 12 episodes to go, and we will have hit episode 300. And I'm still trying to figure out what we're going to do when we get to episode 300. So if you want to comment what you think we ought to do, groovy, do that. Put it on the chatty chat if you want to. If you want to email, it's beautifulbourbon@gmail.com. So you can email your suggestions as to what you think we ought to do for our 300th episode. Again, that's going to be coming up soon. That's 12 weeks away, which I know it sounds like a lot when you say it that way, but my gosh, where did the time go? We have done 300 freaking Bourbcasts. What? Or on our way to doing 300 freaking Bourbcasts. What? So, this was a COVID hobby. And we're still doing it. And you're still watching, which is so much fun. Thank you for that. All right, gang. So, next week we come up with a case of whiskey, Dick. Right here on Beautiful Bourbon. And we will see you then. Thank you for watching.